And we're back with another edition of the PCC Multiverse. How is everyone out there? My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. The PCC Multiverse is again available every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network. If you get a chance, check us out there. Or if you want to download and subscribe, it is also on the Pop Culture Cosmos channels that are available on the ESO Network, the Tangibound Network, the Gonna Geek Network, also as well iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast.com, Google Play, and Mixcloud. And we truly thank our sponsors, Rob McCallum Films, and also as well Retro City Games, two of our awesome sponsors for being part of the program as far as weighing in with their support and also coming on the show from time to time. So if you want to become a part of our sponsorship program and sponsorship team, just like Rob McCallum Films and also as well Retro City Games, check us out. You can send us a message on Facebook, Pop Culture Cosmos, at Pop Culture Cosmos on Twitter, or also as well Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com. So it is another, like I said, delving into the multiverse. We had a great start off last week, a great debut on the air, and who better to share this episode with me as we talk about some subjects that are near and dear to our heart. But the creator of the Ghost Toasters, the author of Vendetta Dark, and also as well the upcoming Congratulations You Suck, and the man with a special announcement as regards to the new company he's starting and founding. Well, this week, it's Josh Pederson. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on here. I'm privileged to be a part of the multiverse. I hope that myself, like on another plane of existence in the multiverse, is listening to this, and he's proud to.
Well, and I was trying to give all the Josh Pedersons in each multiverse, a nice introduction indeed. So we want to know more about what you have, out there that you'd like to introduce to the world as far as what you've got going on with Humannequin Media.
Yes. As some of you might know, I had a company called Pogue Media, which I have been forced to shut down for unforeseen reasons. Humannequin Media is my new project. From now on going forward, everything I create will be released under Humannequin Media, including Ghost Toasters, if you've been following that. We have several great podcasts. Chad and Travis's musical show about music, which you've heard on the Pop Culture Cosmos show, which has also been featured. We have a couple new ones, the Double J, the Super Bro Station Games cast, and another one coming out called What About This, in which we tackle some questions that people tend to think about but don't voice. So, I mean, it's a really interesting concept, and there's a lot of great stuff. So please, if you're following Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook or YouTube, please check out Humannequin Media, and I look forward to working with you guys in the future.
And there's also the Double J Filmcast, and also Travis versus the World, and then the Chad and Travis's musical podcast about music, correct?
Correct. Did I forget to mention those?
I think 2 of the 3. I'm not sure. You've got so many going on. And a lot, on today's program, you will hear some of those podcasts and find out more information on how to get a hold of those podcasts in full today as well. So definitely looking forward to it indeed. Also as well on the queue, looking at Jay Bartlett, guy who's just an incredible Star Wars fan indeed. So what better way than doing his podcast as far as on the air? You'll get a sample of that. A Galaxy Far, Far Away, and you'll find out more about how to get that show indeed as well. Also, we've got a little bit more conversations later in the hour in regards to some recent findings by Kotaku in regards to the way that GameStop does its business. And then also as well, we're talking the movies for this week, because my goodness, it is the really the first big movie weekend of the year where there's a lot of quality competition. Usually so far this week there's been This year, there's been one movie each week that stands out from Hidden Figures, and it seemed like it was also then became Switch and so on. So there was really just seemed like one after another, alternating weeks. This week we have three great movies that are coming out, and we're going to talk about all of them indeed. So Josh, I wanted to ask you real quick while we're here in the multiverse, a little bit about the upcoming game Mass Effect Andromeda. It's really just a evolution of the Mass Effect series indeed. But before we go into the newest game itself coming out next month, what are your thoughts on the Mass Effect series as a whole and the time that you spent so far in the series?
First of all, this is a very appropriate show to bring up Mass Effect on. It's just a lot of inner worldly travel. All right, so Mass Effect, yeah, right. we need background music for when we say clever things. Mass Effect. Okay, so Mass Effect. It's kind of, I love it. I was really hesitant to play it at first because it was another game that I would waste hours of my life on. But once I started it, it was a completely different gaming experience from anything that I have ever played. I think it's kind of the first time on console that a story like that has been told. Like you start as this character and you don't, it's not like linear. You get to live the character's experiences. Like Shepard was a protagonist that you were actually emotionally invested in. I know Final Fantasy maybe kind of did that a little bit, but you didn't get to choose what the character did. So with Shepard, you got to pick like what he was doing, where he was going, who he was hooking up with, what relationships you wanted to forge, and that's really that's a different type of gaming experience. Like it's not linear. You're a part of the game, and that's what really impressed me about it. So I jumped on the second and third one as soon as they came out. It takes hours to play, but you don't really notice the hours, unfortunately. And with this new one, it's been a while since we've explored Mass Effect, and they haven't really given a whole lot of details away on what we can expect. But I'm really excited about it. Like I haven't been this excited about a game probably since Mass Effect 3 came out.
But that one didn't meet up to everyone's expectations because of the way the ending laid out and the fact that also as well the promise of what the games would be, where Mass Effect, your actions in Mass Effect 1 would affect your ability in Mass Effect 2, which it did to a larger extent. And then the actions of both leading into Mass Effect 3, as far as the consequences from both those previous games, if you had played through them, would be evident in Mass Effect 3. For the most part, it really wasn't evident. And also as well, the endings, as far as that's concerned, also left many people with a bad taste in their mouth, I should say. So your thoughts on the series? I love it. That's why I'm wearing the Mass Effect shirt right now. That's why I got Shepard right behind me right here, looking down my shoulder, give me that evil death stare saying, you better be talking about Mass Effect real good. So that as it may, what are your thoughts as far as Mass Effect, the way it ended up with Mass Effect 3, and how do you think it's going to evolve into the new Mass Effect Andromeda?
That it's weird that you asked that, because I don't think that anyone who is left with a poor taste in their mouth from Mass Effect 3 is going to not play Mass Effect Andromeda. It was the whole controversy with the ending, that like the three different endings you got to pick. I think there was a fourth one. It wasn't like, yeah, it was disappointing, but I don't think it made people regret playing any of the other games. I think it was more kind of something that was blown out of proportion. Obviously, if you've been waiting for something for a long time and they disappoint you like that, you're going to be angry about it. But in the end, you're not going to, wish you hadn't played it or not want to play another game. What do you think of that? Is that correct, or?
No, I think you're right. It did leave a bad taste in a lot of gamers' mouths, but not to the point where it's going to stray anybody. Because I think maybe if this had come out a year later after that game, maybe it would have. But there's been enough time that people now have just remained and recollected in their head the fondest memories of playing through the Mass Effect series. And like me, I now pretty much have strayed away from any ill feelings in regards to the endings of Mass Effect 3 and just basically enjoyed my experience from 1 to 2 to 3.5, I should say. As far as maybe halfway through third, when it started veering towards the ending and you could see where it was going, and then you heard about all the rumors, maybe that as far as where the endings would go and whatnot, maybe that kind of strayed me from not liking that latter half as much as I should. But up until that point, it was a great ride indeed for all three concerns. I know you could see the evolution of what they were needed to work on and emphasize in each of those iterations, improving the storytelling, the choices, but also as well the combat, which was not as evident and not as well executed in 1, better in 2, better in 3. They added a multiplayer contingent as far as it's concerned that actually was fairly good, and they're trying to improve upon that for this time around. Mass Effect Andromeda is looking like a definite big hit indeed. I just have some trepidations when I hear things such as them not being able to include the Paragon and Renegade conversation trees that they were so famous for from the earlier editions, which kind of made it even more fun to play for me. They're BioWare stating, the development company behind Mass Effect, is stating that they're not going to be including those dialogue trees or those choices, I should say, which, I guess you could still go down those routes and play it how you want to play it, but the conversations that you have are not going to be as distinctive maybe as what I was hoping for. So that's kind of a little drawback there, but we're going to wait and see. The Mass Effect universe is still, I've read the books, like I said, played the games. I'm a big fan indeed of it as well, and I'm looking forward to the challenge and taking it up and delving myself back into that Mass Effect universe. But your thoughts as far as the new Mass Effect Andromeda is concerned and how you think it's going to relate to audiences?
From what I understand, the dialogue is supposed to be, you can't do the Paragon route, but the dialogue is supposed to have a lot more options than the first 3 did. Like, there's supposed to be a lot. I mean, this is kind of a weird statement, but the director said that there's during an article when he said there's some pretty good banging, he went on to elaborate on how you can develop relationships with people, and just the way that they were describing the dialogue options, it sounds like there's a lot of intricate thoughts that your character can make, things you can say. It's going to be hard to really know until I get my hands on it and play it. But as far as the game as a whole, it's kind of, there aren't a lot of games like that. And if we can say anything about the ending of Mass Effect 3, is that a lot of game developers have learned an important lesson from that. Even Final Fantasy 15, the ending, they learned from Mass Effect 3 what not to do. And then and so hopefully going forward in Mass Effect Andromeda, we won't have to worry about something like that. But at the same time, I kind of hope that they do push the controversy envelope a little bit.
As do I, and I think this is also going to lead into, obviously, I think it will lead into another trilogy, of course. That would.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, because they were so successful overall sales wise with the previous 3. So definitely, I'm looking forward to it indeed. And to get yourself prepared out there, you might want to go revisit Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, even though Shepard is not going to play a part in this new series because it's in a different time realm as far as maybe farther into the future. It's still nice to get that cusp of what it's all about, because it also gives people a background on some of the races that you'll be fighting with as your friends and foes, the parties and team, about their abilities and what they can do. Gives you some general ideas what they can do in the, like I said, the alien races that you'll be befriending and being enemies with, that you can become familiar with that universe. So if you have not checked out the Mass Effect universe, it's definitely something that you might want to check out indeed, because it really truly is, I guess, 100 hours worth of goodness for the most part that you'll be playing. So definitely something to look forward to indeed. So check it out if you haven't already, or if you have, revisit it before Mass Effect Andromeda comes out. Because it definitely would be nice to get a refresher course just before that game hits the streets. And I do think it definitely, barring any unforeseen changes, is going to be a big hit with audiences indeed. So we, like I said earlier, have a great show lined up. We got a lot of things on the cake coming up for you. A lot of things on the queue. Josh, what are some of the shows that they'll be listening to, as far as, that they'll be getting a sample of on today's program?
Right. The Super Bro Station Games Cast, which we will be talking about. Actually, that might have been on Monday's show. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Double J Filmcast and Chad and Travis's musical show about music.
But the Super Bro also is checking in with, one of the conversations that you guys had as well. We'll give them a taste of the Super Bro just to check that out as well. So
perfect. Yeah, guys. Seriously, I appreciate everything. I hope that I can keep creating content that is satisfying to you guys.
Definitely indeed. So where can somebody find out more about Humannequin Media and all the great programs, including the Double J Filmcast, the Super Bro gaming podcast, the musical podcast from Chad and Travis about music, Travis versus the World, so many more off the top of my head. There's so many.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with Humannequin Media, is create a platform for other people who have crazy ideas they want to create podcasts out of. So that's my hope for the future. But if you want to check it out, you can go on Facebook and check out Humannequin Media, or YouTube. It's a pretty unique name, so you don't have to scroll through 12 pages before you find it. It should be right at the top.
Make sure you put that media in there. I will tell everybody, it's Humannequin Media. Make sure you put that second word in there, or else you will not find it.
Correct.
Indeed, because I said, I was looking like Humannequin. That was not the right Humannequin, but Humannequin Media, it pops right up on YouTube. Definitely, indeed. So I will tell you now, it's going to be heading on out, but first let's get a taste of more music from our good friends at Hyperschmidt, HYPERSCHMITT, hyperschmidt.com. We're going to check out one of their great singles there, and then right after that, going to start off with Jay Bartlett, the man, the myth, the legend. He's going to start us off with another great episode of A Galaxy Far, Far Away. We'll give you the taste of that here in a sec. But I also want to give a shout out to everyone out there that really likes our programs. So we truly appreciate you listening. This is the PCC Multiverse, and here comes some Hyperschmidt. All right, and thanks so much for being a part of the PCC Multiverse. It's been a great episode indeed. We truly appreciate you listening to the program. Once again, if you get a chance, check us out on the podcast or the broadcast, whatever you want to say. Check us out, the Podcast Radio Network, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, plus also as well. Check us out. You can download the episodes today on our podcast. On our Pop Culture Cosmos channels on iTunes, Mixcloud, Google Play, Podcast.com, Stitcher, and also the ESO Network, the Tangent Bound Network, and the Gunny Geek Network as well. So, Josh, any last thoughts before we head out of the PCC Multiverse? We head out of the PCC Multiverse. It's been a great episode indeed. We get a chance, to listen to A Galaxy Far, Far Away. We got a chance to taste about the upcoming Pop Culture Cosmos show. Also checked out the Super Bro Gaming podcast and so much more. So tell me your thoughts as we head out on for tonight's show on the PCC Multiverse. Your thoughts?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the PCC Multiverse. So I would definitely, if you're if you're in everything geek, like what I love about this is that there's so many of ideas in one place, and it's really it's something cool. So if this is something that you're into, please share it with your friends. Look us up on Facebook, YouTube, whatever whatever site you use to go online. And yeah, check out Humannequin Media, and there will definitely be more in the future.
Indeed. So thank you to Inside Sports, Wine, Women, and Words, Humannequin Media, and Rob McCallum Films as well for being part of the program today. We truly appreciate you listening to us. It's another beautiful day in paradise here in the PCC Multiverse. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.